What's up everybody, Daryl here again. Today I want to make a video on how I make new beds in my bag rotation plot, crops that take more than 60 days to grow. I'm going to be planting kale and basil there, so this is the video. I hope you find a lot of value into this. This is for the bi-rotation plot, but you can use this for the main rotation plot if you're going to grow rotation crops and in this matter of no dig system. So let's get into it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Today we have breakfast. Today I'm going to show you guys how I make a new bed. This is the top of the field. As you can see, it's right next to the road. So I'm gonna make a bed here for kale and some Italian basil. Here you can see the whole plot. So I've already started loosening half the bed. I'll use the digging fork to loosen up the bed, and then I will add, I don't have much organic matter. This is left over from my seeding trays. So I put that on top. I'm gonna just mix it up a little bit. And that's pretty much my whole bed preparation. This is going to be a landscape fabric too, because I'm probably going to get a lot of weeds, so I'm going to put landscape fabric to minimize my weeding and my time input into this. So this is a little less than 40 foot from that end to, let me see if I can put you, getting dizzy, till that end. It's a little less than 40 foot, but these drip tapes, the drip emitters that I was using are just a little bit small because the time I built it, it was not 40 foot precisely, so it doesn't really mind. I don't really mind about this because this drip tape, these are the first ones that I bought, and yeah. So the reason why I am using the kale and the basil here and not in the main beds is because these crops take a long time, and I don't get I don't have a big customer base to take all the kale and all the basil that I produce. So for me to have a little piece on top that doesn't use a lot of water, it does not take a lot of maintenance thanks to the landscape fabric, it makes it easier for me to have these extra products, to have a little diversity in my products. So I'm going to start building this, and I'm going to put you on the stand. So yeah, again, I'm going to use this digging fork to make all these beds. Now I got you on the gimbal and not a stabilizing gimbal, so let me put you somewhere and then you can see how it works. All right. So I just did a little bit, but you can see I don't try to turn over the topsoil. So this is the top layer of the soil. I try to just loosen it up and break it so that it has aeration to go into the ground. Once you got aeration into the ground, and when you start adding water, so the bacteria and the fungal life is going to start breaking down in the soil, start being active in the soil. By doing this and not trying to till over everything and mixing everything together, I'll keep a lot of the fungal life that's native here into the soil to stay here and then keep growing and helping this bed grow better and more fertile. So when you're making bed, make sure that when you're loosening up the soil, to not turn it over. And also, if you find any rocks around, take them out of your beds directly, because it's not worth having in your bed, because it makes production hard. Yeah, I can see that I just finished the beds, so there's minimal soil turnover, because most of the soil is still on top, and then try to turn it over. There's some weeds here, but it's not going to affect me much because I'm going to use landscape fabric. So landscape fabric will help me for not to manage with meats. Yeah, throughout the years when you're in bed management, you use this tool, and every time it loosens up the soil a little bit more and makes it easier for you to grow. So for example, let me show you on my main beds. So this is my main bed next to my spinach. There's a little spot that did spinach didn't germinate that well. So you can see from years of managing this greenhouse, this bed. I'm just going to hold this and put it, and with a gentle push, barely pushing, I can get it completely down. Through good management, you can get the whole time completely to the subsoil. And this kind of tool you use, so these broad forks and these digging forks, in a while that you use it, the soil will become very loose and become very rich in organic matter, and let water percolate down and have a lot of airflow. It'll help get the fungus life and the bacteria life in the soil, mostly bacterial life in this system, to explode and produce more nutrient for your crop. The other benefit is that when you have carrots or beets, it makes the soil a lot more loose so that they can go very deep into the soil. So it makes it easier. In time, you will not even use this, because I have some few beds. So some of the beds that I have from lettuce, I have problems that when I dig the soil to put the seedlings, the plugs into the soil was too loose that it didn't compact around the soil structure. It didn't compact around the soil structure, so I didn't get a good lettuce head to grow to produce. So I figured out at that point, some few of my beds I don't even need to broad fork or even use this digging fork to loosen up the soil, because it's already so loose. So now I need to introduce some compaction, or in my case, I'm just not, some of the beds I already marked them, and I'm not gonna broad fork them anymore. I'm just gonna let them be for, I think, 2 times a year. For maintenance, I'll broad fork it just for maintenance, but other than that, I'm not gonna broad fork those beds. So in total, I got around 6 right now that are in that category, this being one of them, this spinach bed. So yeah, this spinach bed, the one I just showed you, is one of them that the soil is too loose. I have to introduce compaction for it to grow well, so I don't broad fork this much. Now, why is this important? Well, it makes watering way better. It gives oxygen to the soil. It makes it easier to grow crops. and it overall improves your yield year by year. And because you're not tilling everything over, you're not dealing with weeds. So you're not dealing with weeds every year. Yeah, every time you keep doing this and not tilling it over, it lowers they call it the seed bank. You keep lowering your seed bank so you don't have to manage weeds anymore. Some of the weed management overall, the weed management time that I spend here overall for both of these blocks being 5 minutes in total, because I can do it quite quickly and I'm getting used to the seeding. I'm getting used to with the mulch, trying to remove the weeds with the mulch. That was a bit tricky. There's some few weeds over there that I didn't take it so well, and I've been busy readjusting the irrigation because I was busy readjusting the irrigation and didn't have much time to deal with the weeds. So you can see there's some few weeds and I have to remove, and in this bed too there's some few odd little ones. But overall, if you keep managing with a no-till system, you get less weed every time. So from this bed being how it was in the beginning, pretty much grasslands, like the top that I showed you, being pretty much grass and not that great. Even the bottom one that I'm using now, that's been going on for a few months since COVID started. Already the weed pressure just dropped a lot from this management of weeds. So it's a great time savers. This mulch helps a lot here, but I didn't get used to the mulch aspect of it. So you can see how the soil used to be. This is what the soil used to be, very compacted soil. Let me get the digging fork to show you. So you can see what the soil used to be or overall on the plot, being hard compacted. 1/4 way of the way into the soil. So it's a big difference between that bed and the soil I used to have. But now it's gonna be a no-till system here. So yeah, you guys can see how the bed turned out. So I just put the landscape fabric down. I'm using these kind of staplers. I made this completely out of rebar, but you can find. I took a template from another one that you could buy locally, but it's kind of expensive, so I bought rebar and just bended it to that size. So now I put the landscape fabric and the drip tape beneath it. So that's pretty much how I make a bed, because this is going to be a long-term crop, not a quick growing crop like the 60 days ones. I'm putting landscape fabric to make sure that weeds and dust management to use this. I got some of the staples I have to hammer down, but yeah, I think there's a lot of value in this video already. So I hope you found this interesting, how I make new beds. It's pretty much the same system I did for all the other beds. The bottom ones I did have to, because it used to be really rocky and hard compacted soil. So I did dig it out. That's a different way I did it, but it depends on the context of the land. But like in the top field where I have a little bit less rock in the soil, so then I can get away with using only a digging fork to loosen up the soil, and using a little bit of water to help ease that transition to becoming a useful plot. I don't know if the crops I'm gonna put in it's gonna do very well, because I didn't put much organic matter into the soil. I just used the leftover compost that when I'm using the seedlings. When the seedlings don't germinate, I'll put them in a bin, and for any other jobs, if for potting up or doing something else, I'll use that soil to pot up plants, fruit tree plants into bigger pots. But in this case, I just put it on the beds so I can get a little bit of nutrient. But yeah, I hope you find this interesting. It's a good way to remember to use landscape fabric, because it's a good way to avoid weeds. If you're starting out, landscape fabric is an easy way to get away without much weeding when you're growing plants. So All right, I hope you guys found a lot of value into this. So peace, pasen un buen día.